think that most people don't give them much thought until they have to use them. And then that I think most public would notice everything wrong with them and perhaps not notice the beauty in some of our toilet architecture. I can tell you when Auckland's first post-colonial toilet was built. That was 1863, and it was down on Queen's Wharf, and that was a men's toilet. Up until the beginning of the 20th century, women not having public toilets wasn't the biggest deal. Women had large petticoats, and if they really had to relieve themselves, they moved their petticoats out slightly in front of them and they just weed in the gutter and nobody knew what was happening. But then in the 1910s, 1920s, fashion changed. We got much tighter clothes and women couldn't do that anymore. And so they really, really needed to have their own places to go. They built the town hall, and women petitioned for at least a toilet within the hall, but they were turned down. So they could go along, they could see the orchestra play, but they didn't have anywhere to relieve themselves. And then they started looking at toilets for women, mostly underground, which were hard to access with prams. It's so cool how that just folds away like that. So the woman used to come through here. The toilets are nothing flash, just toilets. The last people that were in here were architecture students. So there's some additional decoration. Does look like the place has seen better days. There's some nice art. We've got the zip here for making the cups of tea. Heaps of storage space in here. And then we've got the attendance room right there. The last attendant that was there, she worked nearly 7 days a week. She had every second Sunday off, I believe. She brought fresh flowers in every day. She talked to all the women. She knew what cups of tea they wanted. I can only imagine what a lovely place it would have been.
I think a lot of people think they're gross and that they don't want to be anything to do with them. I think a lot of people think they're an embarrassment in the sense that they don't want to talk about it and it's something that should be hidden. But when it comes down to it, I think most people know that it's a facility that they need. So I started writing Magnificent Facilities, which is my blog, maybe six or 7 years ago. It's a blog where I rate public toilets, I use it as an opportunity to talk about the facilities that we have in society, and also to talk about the people who might need those facilities, like people who suffer from anxiety disorders like I do, or people with other invisible conditions. Agoraphobia is a condition. Most people, when I say I suffer from agoraphobia, will say, oh, that's like the opposite of claustrophobia, right? You can't stand being out in open spaces. Well, that's not the problem. Agoraphobia is a social condition. I suppose I should probably explain what the fear is: being stuck with other people and having them kind of stare at you, and not being able to take myself away from that situation and feeling like I'm gonna, I don't know, throw up or sweat or need to pee or any number of things that my body will do that I won't have any autonomy over. I've always felt that bathrooms in public, or public toilets in general, are one of the few places that you can go and be completely alone. You can shut the door and lock it, hopefully if there's a working lock. There's not going to be people coming and going and knocking on the door and giving you a hard time. So it's one of the few places where you can be truly peaceful. Generally when I come into... that happens sometimes. Generally when I come into rate a toilet, I will look at the open kind of space to begin with. I'm not a huge fan of stalls, to tell you the truth. I don't think anybody is. But it's good if there's more than one. As long as there's more than one or two, it's a much better bathroom. The thing that I like the best about it is the juxtaposition between the beautiful exterior and the very utilitarian interior. So I came up with the rating system after I had a conversation with friends of mine who also used public bathrooms a lot. The idea was to work out what mattered about using public toilets. So I cut it down to 5 different topics. So I rate them on the cleanliness, the interior, on the exterior, on their safety, and also on the snugglitude. Other things I would look for inside, if it's a nice heritage bathroom, I'm usually a big fan of tiles. This one obviously doesn't have nice tiles, but I would take kind of close-up shots of those because that's my thing, it's my jam. I think bathrooms need to be made more of a part of everyday public life and thought of as a positive inclusion in society rather than something to be embarrassed about.
I use public toilets. I drink a lot of aloe vera and water, so yes, I do.
I guess so. I'll use public toilets if I need to.
No, I very rarely use public toilets actually.
I just prefer to use the one at home or at work.
Double down on the toilet paper. Put it all around the seat, and then once you've done the whole seat, you do it again.
Yeah, sometimes I'll cover the toilet seat with toilet paper, but otherwise just make sure I wash my hands.
Jesus. Oh, wow. Look, I've seen some really disgusting toilets. I am a little bit concerned with public and some people out there. I'm not too sure what they're thinking and what's in their headspace. We've got a beautiful clean toilet bowl and sink and all that. How does it get to the other area on walls and everything out? I have no idea. On a daily basis, my role here as the cleaning supervisor is leading the cleaning department. This department looks after all of the public toilets through the Rua region contract, which is through Puketapapa, Albert Eden, and some of the air info. So if you can think of how many toilets are in that area, including changing rooms and parks, we're looking after that, yeah. I use public toilets. I actually now go into the public toilet and find out what's wrong with it. I make note and audit it as well. My wife goes, "What are you doing?" I'm just auditing the toilet. Yeah, look, I've seen graffiti and facie matter. That one I just couldn't believe, right across the wall. That was pretty impressive. I just questioned what people are thinking when they're going into a toilet. And I'm not even using the paper or whatever. It's just, yeah, it's just soiled everywhere. Yeah. Blow it up, I say. Yeah. When in doubt, yeah. Blow it up. I mean, this job is 24/7, rocking hard. Every day is different, and it will not change.
With some of the things you see, in the public toilets, the throwing up and the things like this, some people probably just couldn't handle that, and couldn't handle, seeing all that or walking in and thinking, oh my God, I have to actually clean this.
What's happening in the toilet now, you're thinking, oh, I wouldn't even leave my kids use the toilets, wait till they get home.
I would personally say, without being rude, that these toilets are there for everyone's convenience. I mean, you expect, mud on the floor and sand in different places that you're in, but you don't expect to go in and see a toilet thrashed and people peeing on the floor and the baby changing things and all that. I think you've just got to really respect that, like you know that someone else has got to use that after you.
I think as facilities, as a piece of infrastructure, they tell Auckland's story. They tell how Auckland grew.
This is something that we need to put money into. This is something that matters. This is something that there's more to it than just the basics of, I need a wee.
How would you treat your own toilet in your own house? Look, we're New Zealand. Keep it green, keep it clean.
Now like the faded star, in Sunset Boulevard, I play the devoted butler